So, hello there everyone, and welcome. It is Niran here, and today it is time for the annual event that is me comparing PES Master League to FIFA Career Mode. It's the age-old question: which football game should you get? Which offline managerial game mode is superior out of Master League from Pro Evo or Career Mode from FIFA? Now, everyone's got their preferences, but today we're going to be checking out all the new features for Pro Evo 2020 Master League and also all the new features for FIFA 20 Career Mode, as well as all the stuff that's actually existing in each game mode, and we're going to see which one is better, Career Mode or Master League. If you go on to enjoy the video, slap a like on this one and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Let me know down in the comment section which you prefer, just generally speaking, and which you think is the most or best new features for this year. But first of all, for those that don't know, we'll get into the new features. I think I've done a video on Pro Evo's new features and FIFA's new features, but regardless, I'll go through them pretty quickly so you've got an idea of what's coming if you are actually genuinely basing your decision off this video, which, to be honest with you, solely, I would not recommend. I'm not the most reliable source in history, but I hope you'll at least appreciate my opinion as someone who's played both and has seen the new features for both. Now, straight off the bat, Pro Evo this year doesn't have as many new features from what I can tell. From their original press release they put on their website as to what's coming new on Master League, there are less features, there are less bullet points, if you like, that have been added for this game than FIFA 20. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you think Master League back in the day or for 2019 was better anyway, then that might be fine. But just generally speaking, I believe EA have done more with their game mode this year. So Pro Evolution Soccer, you can now have legends as manager. The likes of Diego Maradona, Johan Cruyff, and Zico. You can choose them to be your manager and to coach the rest of the squad. Alternatively, you can also create your own manager. That's something I'll get onto in a moment with FIFA, but that's been something you could do since time began, really, on Pro Evolution Soccer. As well as that, they've introduced interaction with players and quite a few different cutscenes in a lot of different settings. I'll put some screenshots in the background. But yeah, as I sort of alluded to, you can now respond to players, you can have conversations with them, you get cutscenes in the changing rooms, and when you're in the training ground, when you're negotiating for players and all that sort of stuff. It's quite well-rounded. It's not just like in FIFA Career Mode where you get cutscenes when you're actually buying a player or negotiating with an agent. The story is then also determined by what you do and what you say in these conversations and interactions. So, and on top of that, PES have also announced there's going to be more realistic transfers coming to the game in the form of a new transfer algorithm. This is one thing that I always thought very negatively about when it comes to Pro Evo personally, is the transfers were so unbelievably unrealistic. Sorry, like, for a start, you'd have players moving around far too much. Like, players were leaving their club every 2 years, and it's like, just calm down, all right? Just settle down. And then alternatively, you'd get things like Mohamed Salah joining Manchester United. It doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't happen in FIFA. It certainly would not happen in real life. So why is it happening on Pro Evolution Soccer? Supposedly, they have fixed that. They've changed the algorithm. They made it more realistic. With FIFA, the new features for Career Mode include customizable managers, which is brilliant, but if you're comparing it to PES, that's something that Pro Evo has had since, you know, for quite some time. Seemingly, there's similar levels of customization available. Dynamic player potential is a big one. It only really coincides with players in your team, as I explained in a separate FIFA news video that went up on our channel last week. Now, this is really good for FIFA Career Mode. To be honest with you, there's always needed to be a situation where happiness, form, performances would actually determine how a player grows rather than just a fixed potential. But as much as it's a really good thing for FIFA Career Mode, it's kind of always been a thing in Pro Evo. There's not really set and fixed potentials in Pro Evolution Soccer Master League. So as much as it's really big for FIFA Career Mode, yet again, it's another feature that was already in PES and they're kind of behind. And with that, you know, Pro Evo have probably refined it a lot better than FIFA, especially with EA, who do have a tendency to bring in something new for a game cycle or a game mode, and then it's not actually as balanced, or it doesn't really work as it should do. Hopefully the dynamic, you know, potential system and the morale system that I'm going to get onto in a second do work properly. I did mention the morale system, and again, this is where player happiness determines a player's overall. This is something that isn't really featured in Pro Evolution Soccer. There are other ways to have dynamic overalls, but it's not really to do with morale. So this is a pretty decent step in the right direction for EA. We've then got press conferences too, which have been added. Again, like what I said with PES, it's kind of to do with, it's not really a storyline, it's actually what you do determines the path of your career. In the same instance, FIFA have also announced that you'll be able to have player interaction in career mode, much like Pro Evo announcing you'll be able to have it in Master League for this year. So both of the companies, both of the games announcing the same feature in the same year, which is pretty interesting. Again, those interactions will then determine how happy a player is, what their performances are out on the pitch, which is really nice. Now, in terms of things that are better on Master League than FIFA, for a start, we've got player and position changes. You can actually train players to play in different positions. That's something that we've been asking for on FIFA Career Mode for a while, and unfortunately it isn't really the case. On top of that, based on the position you play those players in, their overall changes, which makes it important to actually then do that position training. I'm going to want to have, if I've got a winger who I want to play as a striker, but playing them as a striker decreases their overall by 5, I'm going to want to train them to be a striker. You don't have either of those things on FIFA Career Mode. I believe personally they're probably the next step. If they've got stuff like morale changing attributes, you could definitely do stuff like being in the wrong position changing attributes. Now they've got that technology, now they've got that knowledge, they could probably apply it to other factors as well. Player personalities is another big one on Master League. You can have players who sort of affect the rest of the team in different ways. You can have bad boys who have a certain impact on maybe the team's marketability, but then also when it comes to the chemistry of the team and how they actually perform out on the pitch and in sims, it might actually decrease the overall level of your squad. Again, something I would love to see in FIFA Career Mode, a really, really cool feature, and something that does reflect the personalities of real-life football out on a training ground. Certain players are going to have certain traits that then affect the rest of the team. We've got Visual Sim, which is something that was on Career Mode in very old-school days, you know, back on PlayStation 2 and stuff like that. You can actually intercept games. You can't do that, I don't think, on PES. You can only just watch the game as if it's sort of Football Manager and then intercept and, you know, make tactical changes, but you can't actually then start playing the game. Even that would be good on its own in FIFA Career Mode. It was in the game, so I don't see why they couldn't bring it back. At the moment, you've only got a situation where you can play the game and then just simulate it, but you can't actually then have a say on tactics, etc. And finally, the tables are less predictable and also more realistic in Pro Evo. Often, it's actually easy to win the Premier League in FIFA 19 Career Mode anyway, with roughly 70 points, which is ridiculous when you consider Manchester City just won the league back-to-back, almost, getting 100 points. Now, that's not a regular thing, but certainly to win the Premier League, you need to score at least 80 to 85 points in a season. Now, moving on to things that are better in FIFA, in my opinion, for a start, there's the obvious thing. There's more leagues, there's more choice of teams, and there's more licensing with FIFA. Obviously, if you're a PC or PlayStation player when it comes to Pro Evo, that doesn't really matter as much, certainly with licensing anyway, because you can download a patch, really brings all the real-life teams into the game and kits, etc. But you can't really patch leagues into the game, you know? Being able to start a Road to Glory in League 2 on FIFA is a novelty. You can't actually do that with Konami's game. The morale system is a big one. Although there's quite a lot of different factors that can change how a team performs on Pro Evo, the ability to have morale changing it is something that isn't actually in Pro Evo itself. Now, a debatable one here is graphics and gameplay. I've always maintained the head scans, and especially going into this game, I don't know if anyone's seen the PES 2020 head scans this year, but they are unbelievable. I've always maintained the head scans are better, but then I've always maintained that gameplay and just kind of overall graphics and movement of players is better in FIFA. It is subjective, and I know different people prefer different things, but I think the majority of players would say that the actual gameplay of FIFA is better, though more frustrating and maybe scripted at times. I think it actually flows better and just looks a lot more like real life. Like, players just move in a very clunky fashion on Pro Evo. And then finally, we've also got the way in which youth players and regens work. The regen system on FIFA is really good, really quite refined. There were obviously, you know, issues when it comes to ethnicity, player names. The name pool is quite bad, but in the way regens and youth academy players actually work and grow, they're really good. Very, very flawed, however, on Pro Evo. A player retires and then a new version of them with the same stats, but just really young, arrives. Like, that's not really how it should work. You shouldn't have Buffon retire and then get replaced by an identical player, but just 16. Like, you do have the freedom with PES for it to be kind of fantasy, but also kind of realistic, but that is something that really, really breaks the realism for me. With all that said, I guess it's up to you guys to determine for yourselves what you think about whether Master League or Career Mode is better. If I'm going to give my opinion and offer it properly, I would actually say the features within Master League are better. 1000%, fam. the amount of things that I've listed that are better in PES in comparison to FIFA, of which a lot of them are aesthetic, the balance is definitely in favor of Pro Evo when it comes to actual features. So I would say features-wise, PES is definitely better, but as an all-round game mode, as weird as this sounds, I would just rather play FIFA, mainly because of the gameplay. It sounds so stupid, but the gameplay, the fact there's different leagues, there's far more players to use, I just prefer the all-round game mode that is career mode to Master League. Though I can completely understand why people, prefer Master League. I just think I don't really enjoy the gameplay of PES, so I just don't play it as much as FIFA. If you're someone who's a lot more impartial when it comes to gameplay, you just play Master League, because the features-wise, it's so much better. That will round up today's video though, comparing Master League on Pro Evo to career mode on FIFA. Once again, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Once you're down there, slap a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It's at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.